There are many different ways to play Fable 3. The playstyle depends on what you like. There are hammers, swords, rifles, pistols, and magic, each starting at level 1 with a max upgrade of level 5, but you're only able to carry one melee and one ranged at the same time. For those who have not played Fable 3, in combat and through quests you can earn guild seals. These can be spent to purchase upgrades or abilities such as being a landlord or expression packs. Now, having played Fable 3 a shit ton and feeling like my wrist tendons weren't damaged enough, I set off in my journey to see if you could beat Fable 3 without spending any guild seals. The rules are simple. No guild seals spent, no glowing trail, and I make the rules. If you have a problem with that, go kick rocks. Walter busted in my room kinda late for his dialogue, but told me there was an Incels Anonymous meeting going on tonight. So I pretended it was 2008 and lined up like it was the release for Modern Warfare 2 again. Once inside, Walter fisted a statue hard enough for it to release the guild seal. I was then teleported to the Road to Rule, which essentially showed me all the chests I won't be able to open. This led to our first problem. Essentially, you can't progress without unlocking the Fireball spell, which costs one guild seal. So, with the run essentially dead, but my hopes not dashed, I proceeded on. So, I used the Fireball to open the floor. I then traveled into the cave. I got my first taste of button mashing, fighting some bats, and eventually I made it out of the cave. After that, we got teleported to the sanctuary. Jasper found a book left by the old king for him that explained what the sanctuary is, and then we teleported to the dweller camp. I got some new drip, met with Sabine, head of the dwellers, to recruit him. He sent me to get some supplies from a nearby village. I then traveled to Brightwall, flashed my piece at Samuel, and he took me to the underground chamber my father built. Then I came to the part of the game where I get my melee, so I started with the sword, whacked that bitch, and proceeded to fight some hollow men. Then I got the ranged weapon and did the same, and got my ass whooped some more. I had finally made it to the toy box. Teresa told me what the box does and who it belonged to. She then showed me a vision of what Logan was going to do, and I finally left the Road to Rule without spending any seals so far. I then met with Walter, who told me I needed to dress up as a mercenary and fight Saker. I got the items and entered the mercenary camp. I almost died while thinking this game was too easy. With everyone dead, I finally made it to Saker, kicked his ass, then recruited him, and promised Samuel I would reopen the library when I became the King of Albion. Gave the toy box to Sabine, who had no clue what he was going to do with it. Watched some people die a horrible death in a cable car that was Final Destination worthy. Beat up on some hobs until they were nothing but bones. Finally reached the Morningwood Fort. Defeated Simmons before he crashed my game. Promised Major Swift I would restore the old guard. Reached Bowerstone Industrial and met Reaver. Met Paige, who told me to do quests to earn more seals. Completed the game quest. Started and then completed Kidnapped quest. And then started the voice. A crazy old man told me that the voice wasn't real and I was the real monster or some shit, I don't know. I almost died again and got stuck, so I mashed the roll button until my screen turned to normal colors or I got tendinitis. Then I completed the voice. I then went on a rampage to get a bonus for my hammer that would deal 16 extra damage since I couldn't spend seals to upgrade them. I had to do community service for that rampage. And I finally had enough seals to impress Paige to give me a furry costume to the party we're going to. We busted in like some white neighbors, but it was a trap. Reaver made us play a game and spin a wheel to fight people. We then watched Major Swift get executed, but he left us a note saying to go to Aurora. So I stacked up on more potions, and I fought my way to the docks. We then stole a boat and set sail. Walter, being the white person he is, read some shit and opened the floor, and now we have to explore it. Did some bridging and platforming by holding my A button for a long time, then got ambushed by the creature they call the Darkness. As a kid, I shit myself at 2 a.m. playing this, but as an adult, I can still shit my pants and have the power to hold the B button down. Walter then got abducted, and then I found him in something that would put a Bukake to shame. I fought a boss and barely beat him after my hand being so tired from mashing buttons all day. I then saved Walter. We got outside and he told me to leave him since he'd slow me down. I had no problem doing that, and then he folded like a wallet over the railing. I then set out to find help and got a bit lost. I knew as long as I hugged the left wall I would eventually get somewhere. I was saved by Ben after wandering for so long. Kaylin showed me her city after Logan stopped paying child support. I promised her I'd be in her life and make sure to cough up the monies. We then gathered on a ship and started the battle for Albion. We stormed that bitch and told that pussy Logan to drop that motherfucking thing on his hip before we shoot. I became the king of Albion, and we promptly had Logan executed for his crimes against virtual humanity. I made it to the Sandfall Palace while trying to run past all the enemies, which ended up following me the whole way. I grabbed the gem and tried to leave. But when you grab the gem, the door closes and you have to kill all the Furies before it opens, and now I had no clue which ones I needed to kill to get out. I completed the Desert Star and chose to introduce a child find in hopes it would give me a ton of social credits from John Cena. I returned to Brightwall and bought the short wavy hair for the only proper way to finish this game out, and started the final level. I did lots of button mashing, proceeded forward for a bit, did a little more button mashing, even more mashing, and made my way to the final boss with no guild seals spent. Walter came face to face with the crawler, and he was pissed that I took his play toy away from him, so he decided to jump inside Walter, instead forcing me to fight my father figure. I finally beat Walter after about 10 minutes of rolling around the arena, and as he lay there dying in my arms, I knew that the sun would rise on a world without Walter. A better world. And then as the credits rolled, I knew I had finally beaten Fable 3 without spending any guild seals. Hey, thank you for watching my video, especially if you got this far. I really do appreciate it. If you could leave a like or comment or subscribe, that would definitely help me out. And, make sure you do check out Nairbit or Mitten Squad. They both have awesome channels, and this video was inspired by them. So, go check them out. They make awesome videos. So, thanks again.